Let's
Well,
do it.
super excited to have you on, Andrew. I mean, we've been talking about GWA Denver and co-warehousing panel and all kinds of fun stuff. Your name's come to me several different ways, and I know that you've had conversation with Jamie, and she's been wanting to talk in depth with you and all kinds of fun stuff. So I took
Oh yeah.
advantage of jumping all over it. So why don't you introduce yourself real fast, share kind of what you're doing today, and then we'll go back and talk about kind of what got you here.
Yeah. Andrew Runnette, call myself a fractional COO, but do a bit more than that. Working with was about 6 clients. Now I'm down to 5. A few different co-warehousing operators, also a water company randomly. So yeah, just helping them in a couple different ways. I mean, the biggest thing I'm doing right now is really just looking under the hood and starting to benchmark the co-warehousing industry for KPIs, similar to what co-working did or is doing over the last 20 years. Co-warehousing only been around, 10 years, if that. So working with them that way, making sure their KPIs are in a good position to help them scale. So they really, really, really understand their business and the, unit economics across each location. So
Well, cool. Well, that's what we're doing now. So we'll work our way there. Why don't we talk about kind of what your professional background is, kind of what got you into co-warehousing to begin with,
sure.
and some of those details because you were raising some funds and some fun stuff. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, quick kind of history of me. I'm a former chef, recovering chef, was in restaurants for a few years, couldn't stand it, found Whole Foods Market, was with Whole Foods for almost 14 years, opened 55 locations at Whole Foods Market from, planning to all the way to opening the doors. Left when Amazon bought them, did CPG consulting for a number of years, found myself into a food tech company, which was in warehousing. Met Alex, the CEO of Portal Warehousing, about 5 years ago. And we opened 7 locations together. I just left there at the end of last year. So yeah, it's been a wild ride across numerous industries, and yeah, just working with a bunch of different operators now. So
So how'd you get into the culinary? Is culinary something you wanted to do as a kid, or how did you
it
become a chef?
was. Yeah, I loved cooking. Even, I remember being in the kitchen with my mom when I was like 6 or 7 years old, just like loving cooking. And, was working at a little market in Pittsburgh, right down the street from where I grew up. That got bought by an Italian chef and he turned it into like a Italian restaurant, Italian market. He used to blindfold me to cut onions. So that was like, so you knew not to cut your hand, right? And just fell in love with like cooking then. Transitioned to a sous chef role at Uno's Pizzeria. I don't know if
Yeah.
you remember that? I don't even know if it's still a chain anymore. They were like a Chicago-based chain, expanded nationally, and I was their kitchen manager, sous chef for a couple different locations. And just then I'm 21, 22. All my friends are having fun. I'm slaving away in the kitchen till 2 a.m. almost every night, and was like, this isn't the life for me. So yeah, then I found Whole Foods and I was like, what is Whole Foods? That was the first one in Pittsburgh in 2003 or 2002. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I fell in love with food. Still love food, but I don't want to do it professionally.
That's it. Well, now it's more of a passion and hobby, so it makes it
Yeah.
easier. So Pittsburgh is home.
Pittsburgh was home, was there 22 years. And now I've been in Southern California for 22 years.
Okay.
So dating myself.
And what made you make the transition?
Whole Foods took me out this way.
Okay.
So, and my cousin lives out here. Now my uncle lives out here. Now my mom lives out here. So the whole fam's here.
That's awesome.
And yeah, we love it. Go back to Pittsburgh every once in a while, but I'll steer clear of the humidity and the snow.
Dude, it's the weather there cannot be beat. So I'm glad that you get to
Yeah.
enjoy that California weather all the time.
We got the weather
Jealous.
tax. but as well, but I'll
Ship
pay the weather
tax.
tax.
That is hilarious. All right,
Yeah.
let's go back to Alex. How'd you meet Alex? Kind of how did that relationship grow? I mean, what was your role starting out?
Yeah. So I was looking to leave the food tech company I was with. I think we either met on LinkedIn or he had posted a position on Well Found, I believe it was.
Okay.
So I DM'd him and I was like, hey, let's meet and play golf. And we met, we played 9 holes, had some lunch, and that was really it. I mean, he was just about to open the first location in Salt Lake City. So I came in like right as that location was opening. And yeah, we scaled to 7 locations. I believe they're about to have 12 locations now. So, they're growing, which is amazing. And I wrote the playbook, which has been super fun.
So, what markets were they in? What markets did you open while you were with them?
Yeah, so Salt Lake, Phoenix, Orlando, Minneapolis, Brooklyn, Manhattan, and then worked on a deal in Boston, which I believe is opening soon. And then worked on a deal in Philly a little bit. So am I missing one? No, I think and we had a location here in Los Angeles. It was just like a property management deal that did it for the term of the contract and then walked away. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and I mean those markets are scattered throughout the country. So what was so let's start from an operations standpoint. I mean, what drove those markets and what were y'all what did Portal look for? I mean, were they looking for, airports,
Yeah.
sometimes a trans continent or US roadway systems? What were they looking for?
Oh yeah, yeah. Freeways were super important. I mean, most of the locations are close to a freeway or close to an airport. Oh, Raleigh's the other one. I forgot that was the other one, which is
Right.
opening soon as well. All like Raleigh's, I think 5 minutes from the airport, right? So
Yeah.
that was part of it. I mean, a lot of what we were looking at is a lot of what I looked at when I was at Whole Foods Market. We were looking at, the median income, looking at e-commerce businesses, scraping the internet that way because, 50% of almost every operator's ICP is an e-commerce brand. Infill. I mean, that's like, close to people's homes. Like we notice people don't want to really commute longer than 15 minutes to get to their warehouse because it's a lot of side hustlers, right? That's like what the industry has been able to grow, right? Which is amazing. I mean, I can tell 10 stories on customers, graduating, as we used to say, out of Portal, right? They just outgrew us and went and got their own warehouse or went to a 3PL, right?
Well,
So
like the three coolest stories.
yeah, I think one that comes to mind is Wild Rye. I believe they may still be in the Phoenix location, but I remember doing a deal with her. It was, a tiered deal. She just wanted to get in the door. She needed a place to, do her mixes. She makes like gluten free cookies and bread mixes and things like that that you can easily bake at home. She's in Williams Sonoma and Crate and Barrel, right? So she was able to scale her business probably tenfold since she joined a co-warehousing space, in Phoenix a couple years ago. National MS Society is another one that comes to mind. They were in numerous locations for Portal and Saltbox. So, them being able to, they were able to, essentially expand their footprint because they had offices and warehouse, which they needed both, and it was flexible, right? Oh, one more. I interviewed this guy on a podcast I was doing while I was at Portal, but Alex is his name as well. But he had a supplement brand where he shut down his retail store, decided to go all in on just online supplements and grew from like a 250 square foot unit to a 1,500 square foot unit, right? I mean, you can't do that in traditional warehousing, period, right? So awesome
Yeah.
stories.
And I mean, a really cool one, which you're working with, or I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I'm doing it anyway. Sorry. The loading dock. I mean, the way Murphy
Yeah.
started was incredible. And we'd had Philip on and talk about his story. But I mean, he created a basically natural mosquito repellent because his wife didn't want to use chemicals. And so they started out of
Yep.
the garage, and then he needed space. And so he took down space and then realized other people needed space. And now, loading docks
He's
is
the
like,
OG. He's the OG, you know? So yeah. Yeah, the loading dock's great. I mean, their spaces are amazing. I love their mix between co-working and co-warehousing, which I see as a huge opportunity for a lot of operators. But yeah, their story's great. I mean, Murphy's is a very recognized national brand now, right?
yeah.
So and that sparked the co-warehousing movement, right?
Yeah, and let's go back to, you kind of touched on, this is a side hustle for a lot of people. I think a lot of the questions people are asking just in co-working, co-warehousing, co-whatever, right? We'll call it flexible space solutions. Who's using the space? How are they using the space? I still remember Twin Saltbox, which you worked with and have relationships with and stuff like that. But it was, you know, monthly sock companies. And I mean, one was they sent like monthly contact lenses to like Guatemala or something crazy like that. So,
Yeah.
help us kind of understand kind of what the model is, who's taking advantage of it, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like I mentioned earlier, I'd say across all co-warehousing spaces, it's probably 40 to 50% e-commerce brands, right? I think that's, the easiest use case. I mean, they're ultimately using it for their office and their fulfillment, right? Testing, kind of light manufacturing, kitting, assembling. I mean, and then you've got artists, which has been an interesting use case that, I didn't advertise towards at one point, right? By artists just using the space and then shared artist spaces, right? I've had, you know, four artists split a space and then they just share the rent, right? And they're using it to do whatever art they're doing, whether that's like watchmaking or just painting, right? Or doing canvas work or spray paint work, right? I mean, distribution's another big one. I mean, lots of CPG brands, right? Just using it for, I mean, I remember Function, Function, the meal brand was using a portal space at one point, right? They were bringing in all their meals, redistributing it, and then drivers were coming and delivering the meals, right? So those kind of use cases. And then national companies. I mean, that was probably the thing that was a big aha moment is like the enterprise companies, they use it to expand or just use it as, a big AV company, for example, right? They'll have a project in Salt Lake City. They'll go take a space, 1,000 square feet for 6 to 8 months, do their project and leave, right? Like
Right.
you can't beat that now. I mean, that's and they're paying a premium because they can afford it, right? That's the one of the biggest use cases. I think it was an aha moment at Portal of getting those enterprise companies in because there wasn't even a negotiation. It's like, here's the retail rate. All right, let me get 8 months. Yeah, easy signing.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. But from an operation standpoint, I mean, obviously with a fractional COO role, what is it your company helping companies with, CPIs, all that stuff? But I mean, like I'll tell you from my perspective on the real estate side, I basically say, look, there's three things you can't recover from: a bad location, a bad real estate deal, and a bad layout. Right. And so obviously as a COO, you go in and there's two ways. I think you kind of with Portal and the growth, and you're looking at, okay, how do we grow and what does it look like? And in order to do that, you have to understand, what's worked and what hasn't with the existing locations. So kind of what does that look like, for you? And, what's important for the industry? Like I still remember Saltbox was like, had their offices and then the warehousing separately. I think a
Yep.
lot of these companies actually have the offices within the warehousing, and so all kinds of things. So kind of talk about what you go in and do and where you think these groups differentiate themselves.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's if I'm looking at, existing locations, it's really about getting the KPIs in a place that you can understand the performance of the business, right? You're looking at the revenue, you're looking at the loss factor, you're looking at the churn, right? You're looking at, the current in-place occupancy, right? Then you're looking at the customer acquisition cost, the cost per lead, right? Where all those channels are filtering and filling up spaces. Once we get past that, we have a good benchmark, right? Oh, there we go. Nice little thumbs up for no reason.
Nice. Well done.
We have a nice benchmark to go from, and then we just analyze each location. And typically, I'm able to find, certain things. Like I'm working with an operator right now that they're just not getting what I think they should be getting from LoopNet and CoStar, right? So we flipped that. We flipped the spend. They were spending one place. We're going to flip that spend somewhere else, right? And help them fill two of the locations that are, just kind of, you want it to be like this, right? And they're just kind of doing one of these. So that's one place. I think the second place is just scaling. I mean, this same operator, we're looking at some floor plans right now, to maximize the space, but also make it functional. Right. That's a tough thing to look at. I mean, I just sent them an email about the hallway widths. I mean, they were at like 7 feet, right?
It's
And
crazy.
that's tight, right? I mean, I'm gonna recommend they go to about 8 or 9, and they'll lose some rentable, but you'll also gain just access for the customer, right? And I think that's like one of the biggest experiences I bring is just working with all these different operators and being at Portal and learning from those mistakes and being able to help with layout a lot better. And then we're also looking at we're doing some construction in some locations, right, where it's just a function of not being functional,
Yeah.
right? Just a bad layout, like you said at the beginning of this, right? It's just you just can't recover from a bad layout. So you might have to spend some money. So,
Well, I find that so interesting because, like, as you said, hallway lengths. I nodded yes because typically we're doing the opposite, right? Is in the office where they have 6 foot hallways. I'm like, you're fine with a 4.5 foot hallway, right? But
yeah,
you're not carrying pallet jacks and all kinds of stuff down hallways and boxes and all kinds of stuff. So it's just
exactly. Because
interesting and a good example where it's different but the same.
yeah, and that opens up, like think about a distribution coming in that wants, 1,000 or 1,200 square foot space. If they can't easily get back and forth to that unit, that's not going to be a fit for them. You're going to lose the
Yeah.
customer before you even, get to the unit. They're going to look at the hallway and be like, I can't fit a pallet jack down here. Right.
Yeah.
So, because it's speed. The margins are so thin in the distribution world. It's speed, it's in and out quick. Right. So, you got to make the spaces to be functional for all of these ICPs, which is challenging.
Well, and part of we're convenience, right? I mean, our goal is to offer the convenience to our clients, right? And so we
Yep.
have to really adhere to that. So, okay, you brought up you were a chef. Are you a golfer? You sound like you
Oh
play
yeah.
golf with Alex. Okay, so I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
avid golfer.
Oh yeah. Golf weekly. Typically Fridays are my golf day. I wish I could get out on the weekends, but the 3.5-year-old will not let me. She runs the house. But yeah, love golf. Been golfing, caddied in high school, right? Been golfing for I have a picture somewhere of me with plastic golf clubs when I'm like 4. So
That's awesome. Well, tell us
yeah.
about the 3.5-year-old that runs the roost.
Mika, she's loving my life. Best thing that ever happened to me. I try not to cry. Yeah, she's such a joy. Like my purpose, my everything. I mean, it's being a father has completely changed my professional life, my personal life, my outlook on life. She's taught me patience, which I've, taken into my leadership roles.
Yeah.
She's just kind of taught me how to just be, you know, look at things a little lighter, right? She's just looking at the world through such a different lens, and she isn't
Crazy,
scarred
isn't it?
by Yeah, and she isn't scarred by like, the world yet. And I'm gonna try to protect her from that as much as I possibly can. But just want to guide her and make her a good person and raise a good human. So
That's amazing. And where does Mika? Where's the name come from?
Mika means future beautiful is what it translates into from she's half Japanese. My wife's from Japan.
Okay,
So yeah, it means that. So we thought it to be very, very fitting
that's
of a
awesome.
name. Yeah.
And how did you
So
meet your wife?
Hinge.
Hinge. Okay.
Oh yeah. Shout out Hinge. Yeah. Yeah. Matt, I went to Japan with two of my best buds back in 2019. And then me and my best friend both met a Japanese girl after we came back on Hinge, and like 3 months after we got back from Japan. So I guess we manifested it when we were there. I don't know. So
Okay. So when you say Japanese, like you met her on Hinge in Japan, and then she moved here,
no,
or it
no.
just so
See,
happened she was
it's so
Japanese and
happened.
living.
Yeah.
Okay.
Living in LA. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
She's been
That's
here.
awesome.
Yeah, she's been here. Anna's been here since 2007. She
Okay.
was a professional hip hop dancer for toured with a bunch of artists around the world and then retired. Oh, probably 10 years ago and started doing hair. And then she just opened up her own salon here in Redondo Beach about 2 years ago. So, about when Miko was about a year old, we decided to open up another business.
Super
So,
cool, right? Because you didn't
yeah.
have enough to do, right? Might as well
Yeah,
add
exactly. I had a startup, going portal, and why not open another startup?
That's
So,
awesome.
but she's
Well,
crushing it.
that's
Yeah.
so cool to hear, and I love the passion that you have to towards your family. All right,
Yeah.
switching gears back to Portal, raising money. I think we're in a place where people are trying to figure out how do we raise money for growth. How
Yep.
do we access that money? Who are we accessing it from? Are we leasing, buying? And I think that's been part of the interesting part of the co-warehousing world. And some of these groups, including Saltbox, we're partnering with landlords in order to go buy, or investors in order to go buy real estate. So talk to me about how the money raised, how did y'all decide, hey, we want to raise money? How did you go about it, to whatever level you can talk about it, and just kind of,
Yep.
what your involvement was with all that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they ended up raising about 50 million in private equity from a fund in New York called GCM. I mean, you can read about it. There's a bunch of PR around it. Yeah, I mean, it was part of the roadmap really from inception of Portal. We didn't know how long it would take us to get there, but we knew we had to plant flags, right? So we went after the management side because we didn't have a ton of capital at the time to go out and, either buy or lease, right? So I think we did one, two, three management deals, and that helped plant flags. And planting flags was capex light, right? Operationally heavy, but capex light, and helped us perfect the product, right? And then that perfection of the product gave us confidence to go and start dating private equity firms. So, and that's literally what you do. You date for a few months and then you marry somebody. So that was the roadmap from the beginning. Obviously, a lot more meat on those bones, but that was the way to set up the propco opco side of things, and they're off to the races now. So
I mean, $15 million is a lot of money. So
yeah, yeah, and it's
kudos.
similar to the playbook that Squarespace took. And I'm hearing other operators are going to take that route. I still think the rev share side of things is a great way to grow. That's what I'm working on with the loading dock a bit. I'm just trying to find those right partners, right, Jesse and I. So, you know, there's a few different ways to grow. I see a lot of leases out there still, which is a bit surprising as I left Portal and I'm like kind of becoming the industry expert, if you will. So we'll see as I work with some of these operators just to give them other ideas on how to grow. And it doesn't have to be just a lease, right? So,
Yeah, and it's interesting just the way, and obviously the industrial product and warehouse product is a little different than office. And so, how much, and also I think that I'd love to get into that even, but even I think the cost to build out a executive suite slash co-working space versus co-warehousing is thinking there's a disparity there too that allows
oh
it
yeah, I mean,
for
you're
those.
talking probably what 150 to build out an office, right?
Wow.
So, you can do depending on the building and industrial. I mean, fitting it out is between 35 and 50, right? So it's, you know, three times less almost,
Yeah.
but it's just you got to find the right building because the that is all infrastructure dependent, right? Like offices are different in that sense. Like you need a loading dock, pun intended, right? You need you need a ramp. There's just certain things you need to be able to open up a co-warehousing space. But there's operators out there that are sitting on empty spaces, and I'm excited to talk to them. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the really cool part about it is it's a continued growing product type, right? Within the flexible solutions or CRE or whenever we want it, wherever we want to put it. There's still conversations as to where all these things go and what is it.
yep,
I mean, at the end of the day, it's space as a service, if you will.
it really is. Yeah, I
And
love that actually. It is space as a service. Yep.
And so that's a really cool part. Okay, let's talk about, you went to Juicy and made a
Yeah.
bunch of connections and when you were able to
Excited for
meet some
GWA.
people that you were able to make into relationships and now are
Yeah.
some becoming clients. You're actually gonna be leading a panel at GWA on co-warehousing with Emiliana, who you've been working with,
Yep.
and a couple others, hopefully. So,
Yeah.
let's kind of talk about what your experience was at Juicy and kind of how you connected the dots with some of these people.
Yeah, Juicy was awesome. I think to shout out to Liz for helping me just work the table. Liz and Jess had me working the tables, so I shook everybody's hands, which was amazing to get my face out there. But yeah, just being able to network in that setting, I mean, nothing beats it. I mean, there's nothing that beats it. I don't think anything's ever gonna beat networking in person at a conference like that. I mean, I remember going to the Expo West and natural food expos back at Whole Foods, and there's nothing like it, right?
Yeah.
You get to see people, you get to have coffee, you get to have drinks, right? You get to have dinner, you get to have lunch. I'm a hugger, so you get to hug a lot of people. So I'm excited about that with GWA in a few months here and to be in Denver. Denver's awesome. I love Denver. So
Uh, that time of year is going to be great as well. So
it'll probably
it's
snow one day and be 95 the other day.
that's true. That's some of the way Denver works sometimes. Um, so is there a particular market in the country that you're trying to focus on? I mean, are you kind of wherever people are willing to go?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's some of the interesting things that are happening with some of the more regional operators. I think they're going to stay regional, right? I think they're already there and kind of, understand that they've already kind of built a pipeline and, they've got their operations people there too, right? So it's challenging, unless you have the right people to grow nationwide. If they don't have experience kind of managing remotely, it can be tougher to grow, right? But I mean, the industry's still so tiny. I mean, for my calculations, there's what 25 to 30 operators right now
Yeah.
with a little over 200 locations. I mean, that is tiny, but it's making a big impact at the same time. So I think it's just going to continue to grow. Where we'll probably see some M&A at some point. I'd assume, right? We'll
Oh,
probably
without a doubt.
see, right? So I don't know if that'll happen sooner than later, but those conversations I'm already having too, which is interesting for such a young industry. But it's a great way to grow too, right? gobble up somebody or merge with somebody that has 3 or 4 locations, right? Then you have 7, right? So, yeah,
Yeah, and I think the interesting part we'll continue to see to what extent the bigger groups get involved, right? So it's, a good example is Industrious being gobbled up by CBRE, right?
yep,
And being
yep.
brought into their servicing model. And then you obviously have WeWork and, the Yardi acquisition or investment, I guess is probably the best way to put it. And so I think we're just going to continue to see the evolution of this and multiple product types and
Yeah,
what
I
that
think
looks like.
Public Storage may be like the first person to or group to, gobble up somebody and, start a co-warehousing brand or just keep it as it is, right? And, the same is the same. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the playbook, right? It was the playbook I took was co-working meets self-storage. Boom. Married them.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. Now, talk about as far as AI goes. I mean, obviously, there's huge conversations around AI. What's going on there? What does that look like? You know, where are we there
Yeah, I mean,
from your perspective?
I'm using it to connect systems, right? I did it at Portal. I'm doing it for a couple other operators, right? It's just kind of ingesting information and creating kind of simple dashboards, right? Rather than having to do a bunch of data entries where I'm using it right now. I think there's definitely opportunities to create some software using AI, right? I think one
Yeah,
of the biggest challenges that warehousing operators use, and I hear it all the time, is just they just don't have good systems because they're using systems that were built for other people and other
yeah,
industries, right? So I think there's a big opportunity there, which I'm looking at very closely. An AI will be able to make that move a lot faster, right? If you put together a software 3 years ago, you're paying 100 grand, you can probably do it for 10 now, right?
yeah,
So the barrier for entry is awesome there. Just connecting systems, right? That's been the nice thing with like say Claude, right? You can create an MCP pretty quickly, which is essentially just a bridge connector, and connect to your cubes or your office R&Ds or your optics or your Nexus, right? You can connect it to your couple different systems and create a dashboard where you can see your KPIs relatively clearly, relatively quickly. But also, I'm seeing people not attributing data properly either, where they just don't have the knowledge to attribute things properly. So it's hard to get to their KPIs. But the nice thing with Claude or whatever AI LLM you want to use, you can drop a CSV into something and prompt it and get some information back cleaner pretty quickly. So,
yeah.
but yeah, that's where I'm using it, where I'm seeing it.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy just to see it continue to evolve. And I mean, we're already seeing a bunch of groups use AI to basically create a board of directors that meets every day or multiple times a day and advises the entire team
Yeah.
what needs to be done, gives tasks and everything else. So we'll be doing a
Yeah.
lot of that conversations at the conference in
No,
Denver for
I
sure.
can't wait for that. Yeah. I use it every day, all day, every day. So it does a lot of the work for me, which is amazing.
Well, I really appreciate you taking time to join me and kind of talk through what you're working on. Congratulations on the success at Portal and the
Thank you.
growing consulting and fractional practice you have. And super excited to have
Appreciate
you
it.
joining us in Denver for GWA
Me
and
too.
appreciate you leading that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait. It's going to be a good, really good couple days. I'm excited.
And golf days tomorrow. We're recording on a Thursday, so golf
We
is
are. Yeah.
around the
Yep.
corner.
It is. It
Well,
is 1:30 tomorrow.
perfect. Well, really appreciate you joining us again, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Yeah. Thank you, Gio. Appreciate you, man. Thanks so much.